Renee Good shooting was phasing out. If you realize last week, you didn't really hear that much about it anymore. It was like it was starting to phase out. No one really, you know. So this is the American news media cycle. Is here today, outrage, selected outrage for today, and then tomorrow, moving on to the next thing. And with no further ado, there's Gwendolyn and Elise. They both took the invitation. I love it. I love it when they're here with me. They make my life special. And look at y'all. Look at y'all. So how you doing? How you doing, ladies?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing fine.
What I mean, what are you guys thinking about? I know just hearing what's on your mind about this new news cycle of first of all, the killing was horrible. And we know that the killing was unacceptable. And this guy got killed for helping a woman who was shoved into the snow, pushed into the snow, and was about to be sprayed, but he got in the way of the spray. He got sprayed, and then they take him down. Then they shoot him in the back 3 times. But then they used, altogether it was I think 10 rounds. And in the police department, for every shot, it must be accounted for. There's an accounting for every shot. I don't know why they shot a man that's on the ground in his back, so we know. Well, we know why. These people are brutal. And it was all gang mentality. The one guy was beating him in the head with the gas thing, whatever they had, that spray, taking the canister and beating him with it. This was a mob assault.
Well, I was writing some stuff yesterday. It may come out today, it may come out tomorrow because I'm always writing. But like my father, I find myself playing a lot of Marvin Gaye, right? And I think about how privilege comes into play with this situation, because privilege allows you to turn your head and act as if what is happening in other communities where there's trigger happy policing, that it's not happening. It allows you that. It allows you to say, no, if you just comply, if you just follow the rules, if you just do as you're told, then nothing happens to you. No, it was a public execution to tell people that if you don't get on board, then we are going to let you know what happens when you don't get on board. That's what that is. But as I mentioned last time, that privilege is going to erode, is going to go away, right? It doesn't last forever. So all these people who are white folk adjacent, who are thinking, well, my privilege, my money will spare me this. It will not. It will not. This is not about, as someone mentioned, Democrat, Republican, independent, progressive. This is, can we have the democracy that we have? If you don't know what you're fighting for, and I'm going to pass it over to Miss Alice after this. There was a Caucasian man who said, Europeans, don't be mad at us because we don't have the same kind of structure you have. We can't just go out and protest and not go to work because then we won't have health care and a place to live. You better figure out what the fuck you fighting for, kid, because if you don't fight for something, they're just going to put you down like a dog. So at what point do you say this house, this money, this job, it ain't worth it? It's not worth it. But you get to decide. I'll let Ms. Elise say her piece.
Well, thank you. I think, so much of what people are saying, it resonates with all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even when we think about it, saying, yeah, our ancestors have gone through, and currently Black people continue to be victimized in so many ways. And I think being careful to always make sure that we understand that this is not normal. It's never been normal.
Is not normal.
It was not normal when it was happening to us.
Yes,
and I think that so many people who were not us and normalized it in their mind. They had realized it. And, you know, and that whole excuse of they should have done this and they shouldn't have done that. And I think what's different with this particular murder is that it had so many angles that they didn't expect.
Yes.
They didn't expect so many angles. They didn't expect you to see that the one agent actually pulled the man's gun out of the back of his pants, where he had it in his back of his pants. He pulled it out, went across the street with it. And then he was shot. He was shot as the man pulled it out. And you know, some people say, "Oh, he shot him in the back." That's I saw. And maybe we just people need to go back and see it again. And you saw him immediately run across the street with his gun.
That's
and
right.
Even at the end, when they call him out, they're asking, "Where is it?" He says, he points down the street, "I have it." Right? He has it. And so, and people wanting to not, and my husband and I were having this conversation earlier, there are so many people out there who want to not believe what they saw, and they saw it, and they tell you, don't believe what you saw. And the ones that don't want to believe what they saw, who support this, don't want to believe that this monster in charge of this country makes them a monster for continuing to support and to have supported him in the beginning.
That's right.
And there's nothing that's happening now that we weren't told from before he was elected.
That's right.
Kamala Harris said this is exactly what was going to happen.
Yes, he did.
Retribution would happen. The one Republican who just pulled out of the gubernatorial race said because of the retribution, the retaliatorial nature of what's happening, it's about retaliation of what's happening in Minneapolis, is why he's no longer going to run, because he can't be affiliated with this.
It was interesting. He said, and to cut you off, but he said, "I cannot look at my daughters, and look them in the eye and support what's going on here." But other people are like, it took you this long to get the wisdom.
But that and that's the thing, right? He didn't pull out after Renee Good because the video that wasn't as dramatic, right? And it wasn't as many angles. The one woman, I hope she's safe. I hope she's not one of the ones they took into custody.
Right.
The one that had the video on that side.
Yes, we were praying. When we saw the video, I think I was with Adrian and we were sitting on the sofa. I said, "Oh my gosh, I hope someone protects this woman." Someone, because when we saw the video, we saw, because the person that was filming in her direction and she was filming in their direction, back at the camera, but she was like right there. I mean, and I was like, God, protect this woman, that they don't, take her away, because she had, talking about front row seats.
Right.
She was right there on the curb, right there.
Right. And he was trying to he actually protected two women. There was the first woman that he put his arms around, and then there was the second woman that was on the ground that they were getting ready to spray. So he protected two women before he was murdered. And I think we can't normalize any of this. And we have to hold people accountable for what they participated in. And if you voted for it, you participated in it. If you were amongst the 34% that did not vote at all.
Right.
That's right.
You cannot turn around and say, I didn't vote, so I'm not responsible. Yes, you are. Because voting is all that is your superpower. And that's why they don't want you to vote.
That's right.
And so we have to keep, as Ron, as you said, it's gonna die. We can't let it die.
That's right. It's
up to the citizens not to let it die. Media is definitely not going to. They've proven that they're not going to keep it circulating.
No,
exactly.
And we do. I agree. We have to find those things where we can find the balance, how we can do it, but understanding that these are uncomfortable times. We're not going to be able to find a 50-50 that balance if we are humans and our humanity comes through. We're just not. We can't sit and think that we're going to be comfortable, because if we don't see it in our waking hours, we'll see it in our dreams.
Mm.
Yes.
It'll always be there, right? And to understand for people who, and I watched a video of this one guy who was a part of the whole Christian right movement, and he played a major role in it. Watching his video and him now saying how, you know, he sees the errors of his ways. When you're not walking, or a Christian, you're not walking according to everybody who profess that, and you're not walking a Jesus walk, you're part of this.
Yes.
Your judgment, and we're gonna call it judgment because people want to call it morality. This is judgment, which is one of the things, if you've ever read the Bible, your job is not to judge anyone, because you have so many things that you're guilty of. This is pure and simple judgment. And so stop trying to rationalize it. Stop trying to make yourself not realize what you've done. And that's what so many people who support it and continue to, who voted for it and continue to support it. That's why so many of them want to end that they didn't see what they saw, because if they saw it, they'd see themselves as the monsters who elected monsters.
That is head on. That is hitting the head on the nail. And Omar, I'm gonna let you on, but make sure you turn off your background noise, so that way we can get all the noise in the background from the show. Yeah, I just said part of me was just like freaking. I just wanted to be. I was so outraged. I mean, these things happen, but when you see the blatant stupidity of these evil men, I mean, they're just evil. These are just, and this is what happens when you put allegedly Klan members, white resistance, white supremacists. Some people don't like to use that word. White nationalists, the whole list of these people in these ICE uniforms, and they get to live out their fantasy by hurting others. But what is becoming more apparent is that not only are they hurting people of color, it's like in lots of the news reports, they're saying if this is going on in public with a white woman and a white man, what is going on with the people of color? That what are they experiencing in silence, in the darkness? Because there's no one advocating for them, and they're not being filmed.
You know, let's go back to that last statement. Clearly, what has happened to Black people has always been televised.
It's true.
It has not been hidden. They've been very overt. We've been hung from trees. They've enjoyed meals watching us be killed.
Yes.
Always been a Rodney King.
It's never been hidden. It's just that the majority of white people, and those as you sit and you want to say we didn't do this in my ancestors, you lost it. You didn't vote against it. If enough of you all voted against it and resisted it, we wouldn't have this. So it's always been visible.
Always.
And you know, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but even it made me think about what I have constantly said and what Gwendolyn and I have been saying. We are all in the same bucket.
Yes.
Alex is in the bucket that we were in. He's in that bucket. Renee Good is in that bucket. All of those people who are not rich, wealthy,
white and male,
straight.
May I add one more thing before Omar shares his? We've said it. If one person loses their civil rights, every single person loses their civil rights. Absolutely. It only takes one person to lose it for all of us to lose it. Said that. This is like the longest episode of I Told You So.
I know.
I'm going to let Omar get his words in.
You know, it's been a minute since I've been online, so I apologize for all the technical difficulties. I'm struggling.
It's a Monday after a snowstorm, or if you were in an ice storm or whatever. We're all home.
They let us stay home today. I can't even get out of my apartment. So,
so what's on your mind, Bud?
I'm constantly dealing with the new norm. I'm trying to wrap my brain around what's happening in our communities, what's happening in our country, and it's always something. It seems to be something new, like almost every day. Every time you turn on the news, there's a new killing, a new shooting. It just, to me, and I remember when when the Black Lives Matter movement happened here in Dallas, and I was living in downtown, and there was a breaking point. There was a snap, and we didn't let this, meaning us, we didn't let this fester too long. There was a expression, there was revolt, there was anger, there was marches, there were speeches, but then there was also actions. And I remember seeing a lot of the young people out in the streets and demonstrating, and they were reflecting their anger. They were responding to what was happening at that moment. And I'm watching, obviously in Minnesota, I don't see a lot of, obviously, us out there on the streets protesting. So I'm wondering, just a question, when do you think that snap is going to happen, that fire, just like George Floyd, will happen across the country, and people will react accordingly to what's being, what's out there right now? What do you think? What is your how are you handling this, and how are you seeing this going to be composed in our communities?
Well, if I may say something, I know, and we're going to address, Adrian has a question, and we're going to address that. I think I really believe there's going to come one of these incidents, and it's not going to be an individual, but there's going to be multiple killing or murders, or unaliving of people. I think there's going to be one person or several people just gunning down multiple people. And I think the visuals of that may awaken some of the others that are asleep. But I have a hard time, unfortunately, my bias of that the white community, unfortunately, does not get it. They never get it until it's on their actual doorstep. And yes, there's lots of white people out there protesting. There are lots of people out there protesting from many backgrounds. Black folks are staying home in a lot of cases, with many reasons why they're staying home from these protests. But I think for the rest of some people are just so desensitized. It's almost like, I remember when I had a conversation with someone that was a crack addict, and once they take the first hit, you take it a couple of times, it becomes normal. Then you have to take more to get the same high. You keep taking more, and eventually it kills you if you keep going in that direction. I think the American public is the same way. I think the American public, we have death all the time. That has become our norm. Kids getting shot in school, people in the streets. We got one killing, one unaliving last 2 weeks ago, and now we got another one this weekend. I think unless there will be a mass shooting, by these ICE agents that will maybe, and I keep saying maybe because there's still so many people in this country that are asleep and they can't be moved. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys, what do you ladies say?
My thought is this. So I'll start with my quote. Until the pain of remaining the same becomes unbearable, nothing changes.
Yes.
So there has always been the idea, like I saw someone the other day asking, where is Kamala Harris? Where is VP Harris? Okay, the magical Negro, she's sitting down. Okay. There is always the idea that some Black person is going to come up and save the world. That time is over. And at the end of the day, the people who need to get on this, and I hate to say it, is white people. It's white people. Persons with the melanin have always put their bodies on the line. That time is over. Now, we can work, but work does not mean putting myself in harm's way. Work means working in my community, to perhaps do voter registration, to help someone get to the polls, to help someone get food. There's other ways for us to work during this time. That does not include us putting ourselves in harm's way. There are other ways to do work. And people typically think, well, I need to be out there protesting. Maybe it's you not shopping some places. Maybe it's you doing some other things to help your community and people who are going forward with like a certain message. It doesn't always mean getting out there with a cardboard, but until some more white people, because this is a white person problem. I know that sounds awful, but that's the truth. They voted for a felon, a criminal, a guy who protects pedophiles. I mean, like, I don't know what you expected to happen. He's a con man. We all know that. So you're getting what you get when you put a felon in the White House. But until it gets on their doorstep, until that blood is on their doorstep, nothing is going to change. And that's the truth.
Yeah. Elise?
I totally agree. And I said it when one of your listeners, former listeners, got upset with me about it. When I said white people are going to have to step up. And this was before the election. And we have to realize that us going in the front, like we can't be in the front of the line. And that's just true, right? We can't be in the front of the line. There are Black people who participating, like the ones that were arrested out in Minneapolis. So there are Black people are participating, but the majority of the people responsible for what's happening now, who voted for this, are white.
Yeah.
And they have to continue to do that. Yes, there are just the ways that we can support this. And I think we do it all the time. We're supporting, making sure people are informed around voting. We're supporting and making sure that those of us who can provide support for organizations, provide that support for organizations. Yeah. Because as you look at it, if you just think about this in your head, if in Minneapolis, the majority of those people, the Black people that are out there, were out there marching and protesting, what do you think would happen? It would be multiple, and you talk about multiple, there would have been multiple killings, and they would not have paid attention to it. Why? Because they've become desensitized to the loss of our lives, even though those lives have been lost to benefit them as well.
Yeah.
They become desensitized to that because that's been what they're used to seeing. Another Black person shot down. They're used to that. And so they have to come forward. Not every one of them out there that voted for them are there, because they still sit there thinking, as Gwendolyn always say, oh, it hasn't come near me yet. It's going to come to you.
It's coming to your doorstep.
When you get there, it's just going to be you there. So you need to join what's out there now until they all just understand and stop wanting to believe the lie. Like the guy that Don Lemon talked to that didn't know any of the data, but only could regurgitate incorrect information.
Yes. He
can only regurgitate what they told him and what he saw on Fox News every day.
Yeah, exactly.
And talk about the facts. And even some of the Black people that I've seen make videos are making nonsense videos about the facts. And, don't let them talk about what Obama did. This has nothing to do with Obama.
Has nothing to do with Obama.
This has nothing to do with Biden.
No.
And even the stuff with them reporting, well, he's upset now because of how, no, he's upset because there's so many views and so many videos of different angles that they have nothing to do but to say it was a lie, that they lied.
And it was sad.
That's the only reason he's angry.
And they still lying.
Still
Let's go with Adrian's question since we're in this conversation.
Right.
Adrian says, panel, how do you feel about Black people taking a back seat to protesting these ICE issues and white murders? Is it time for the others to step up?
So can I just I'll jump on that one. So
Yes.
I was watching Don Lemon before I came over here, and he mentioned how, like, why is ICE not in Texas? Oh, they're in Texas. They're in Texas. We have a very pro Kankles governor. They're in Texas. They're going to door in San Antonio. So you're not going to hear about how it's happening here in Texas.
Right.
But again, we are not going to be out in the streets doing stuff, but we will use our tools. So if you're on Google Maps and you happen to see a ice storm, yeah, because they are literally taking everybody off the highway. I went and verified it. They are taking them off the highway and then running them through the commercial way station. Yeah, that's real. So there's other ways to do stuff that, again, does not put our bodies in harm's way. There's other things you can do. You get the word out. You can find all the ways to talk about how to make someone aware of ICE being in your area. There's other things to do. But until all these other people get up and start fighting for the change, like, people voted for change, they just didn't realize what kind of change that they were getting, or maybe they did, because there are a lot of folks who want to see people deported from stolen land. And then it was like, but wait, that's my wife. It was the whole idea of, if it happens to someone else and not me, well, yeah, you voted for this. You're part of the problem. That self, I can't even think of the right word, honestly. I can't think of the right word.
Yeah, it blows my mind.
Go ahead.
When you because you're saying these, when you see people that were, and it's still, again, when they did the poll this weekend, 24% of Americans are still with this. So that means a quarter of our population is still with this. And that's the crime. That's the insult to our 24, and that's not including the other ones that said we don't know.
Yes,
so it was like 18% that said we don't know.
Well,
are you with this? We don't know.
Can I mention something that Miss Ali's mentioned on our show Friday? And this was after hours, right? The whole idea is to overwhelm you emotionally, visually, mentally. It's to wear you down to where you clock out. We know that. It's coming from you at all angles. Every day there is something new that you could talk about. You're like, okay, I can't. Well, you cannot clock out. So as I mentioned to Ron, we talked about celebrities. I don't like using that term. I'm with my husband now. These are the people who have a job that's in the limelight. Right. We have more power in our own voice than they do. Yes, I get that they have a huge platform with tons of folks who are looking at them, but the power happens in each individual circle. When you talk to your loved ones, your family, your friends, the people that you work with, when you talk to them and you put it in front of their face and you give them accurate data, when you show them what's really happening, you have a bigger chance of getting them to understand what's happening and to get active than somebody who's out here on Instagram or any other platform. You have more power than they do. We have to use that power. Take the time to have the conversation. And it may feel funny, uncomfortable, but here's the deal. You're going to have to get into some trenches. You have to have an open mind and not be judgmental. Let somebody bring whatever they don't know to the table and have this conversation. That's where change happens. That's where the work is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you have to keep doing. Can't if you notice now you have, after this second murder, you have organizations and people speaking up that have larger platforms. Now you have it. Why did it? We can't sit and wonder why did that take long, right? So what we can do is to make sure that we keep informing people, that when things happen, use what our little platforms can do when we do it. As I said, use it as a tool and not be used by it as a tool. Those are two different things. So circulate those things, get that information out, call relatives who are in these places. You know, I have tons of relatives now that are now in Texas and friends. Yeah. Don't let me find out you're not voting. We're going to have a problem. Or you voted the insane way. And for that 24%, Ronna, I'm still going to say it. Some of them are just willfully ignorant. They don't want to know because they know. And then they have to admit that they are responsible for what's going on. That's something that, and I tell my husband all the time, it's one of the hardest things to get human beings to do is to hold themselves accountable for what they do. They don't want to look in that mirror and say, I voted for this. I am responsible for what's going on. I am a part of this problem. And then they have to be willing to say, I have to change. And they have to make those changes themselves. It's 24 now. Last week it was probably 40. But it dropped because they cannot deny the truth in this particular murder.
That's right.
There's too many angles for it.
Too many angles. So I said, and guess what? And I guarantee you there'll be some more. Because there's somebody sitting that took pictures and was, because I watched the whole on MS, I think it was MS Now. They had one of the reporters and they let it run, I was shocked, throughout the day on Saturday of the protest, leading into the situation, and then after, and they had the yellow tape up. And the yellow tape is where obviously the protesters were on the other side and the ICE people were on the opposite side. And out of nowhere, the ICE agents decided to go after the protesters, which did not breach the yellow line. Okay. They did not come across the yellow line. They just remained respectful. They protested, they yelled, they screamed, they did all what they were doing. It was peaceful. They did everything they did. And because they were peaceful, I believe, they wanted to agitate these people. And then they went and started pushing them back and went through and the woman was saying, why are you doing this? We did not cross the line.
Because, Ryan, you got to remember the narrative they've created.
They want to create.
The administrator has created now. They've created that Portland is out of control.
Yes,
it's on fire.
In Minneapolis, they're doing all these horrible things and they're attacking our agents. So I got to provoke you.
Yes,
I have to provoke you so that their narrative doesn't seem so wrong, right? So, but I do have a message for some people, and hope that these people see. So as I get closer, this is to the relatives of the Black and Latino community people who their family members are ICE agents.
Oh, don't get me started. Oh, I don't know how you could be a person of color.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you going to do when they say thank you and they start coming after your family? Because they will. How are you sleeping? Also, you're benefiting now because, now my husband, my brother, my sister, they got all this money. But what does it benefit a man to sell to gain the world and lose? You're not even gaining the world.
You're not getting nothing but $50,000 or whatever trinkets.
$50,000 and whatever else they're paying you so that you can kill people who look like you, sound like you. And if they were to check your papers, they would get rid of you.
That's right.
So this is to y'all. Look at yourself and look at your family members. Out them. Let them people know that they participating in this. if you have any humanity left in your soul, do something about it. Don't sit there and revel in it and go and see what else you get, because whatever you gain, you're going to lose.
You're going to lose it.
And don't forget, as my husband said, don't forget the Nuremberg trials, because there will come a time.
It's going to come. I say
they're
that.
going to pay for this.
They're going to pay.
And you will go down with them. There will come. Your time is coming.
When the Gestapo, after the war, and they, to this day, they're still tracking these people down. Some of those folks that did what they did. And they're 90 years old, 95 years old, and wheeling them into court and putting them in prison. They will get you. You will be caught. And but again, these people are stupid, ignorant, have no knowledge of history. So they don't think, oh, he's gonna, if we are arrested, we'll be pardoned. But as they were saying this morning, is that states are now a lot of the AGs around the country are now coming together and finding ways that they can convict these people of crimes, state crimes, so that way they do not get, expunged or whatever the case may be, or pardoned.
And you see what Lisa put in there? I think it was Lisa put it in what Texas and Florida is doing about barring the American Bar Association.
We don't have time for that today.
What does that mean for you when you go and find your lawyers? How is that impacting people's leads to attorneys and getting information? We have to think about those things, because all of it is about, we know what it is about. So we know this is about the three things: money, power, and control.
Yes.
And how do they accomplish that? Through fear, intimidation, and keeping us divided.
Yep.
I have to invoke Fred Hampton at this moment. 21 years old, murdered because he was starting to get people from diverse communities, poor white people, Hispanic people, all to come together.
That's when he was murdered.
That we are all in the same place. And that's what it's going to legitimately have to take. It's going to take those people to come to come together. And it's going to take, and I think Adrian said it too, you white people, you got to take this lead. You got to keep being out front. You got to come out there and fight it. And then you can't not, every time anything happens, I told my husband this morning in bed, I said, every time something happens with groups of people, the first thing they say is, we're the Black people.
Yep.
Yes.
But we told y'all, we have shown you all, we have lived it, and we died for it. So you can go and look at the videos. We don't have to be out there, but you can look at the videos on how things work and what strategy they use. So it's not a safety.
We have the
This
blueprint.
one man said something very interesting on a video. He said, until we stop saving our oppressors,
yes,
we will continue to be oppressed.
Well, it's the same thing like that ICE agent that was trapped, and the black guy was trying to get him through and try to help him. And I don't know if that was a real AI.
No, he wasn't an ICE agent. He was a pro neo-Nazi influencer who wanted to hold a rally to offset all that's happening in Minnesota. And the Minnesota people were like, "Yeah, not today, Satan!" And this black guy jumps in to help him because they were coming for him.
They were coming for him.
Like I said, I get it. I don't believe in what these people believe in. I don't believe in that kind of hate. I'm not that mediocre. I believe that I can shine bright and you can shine bright. It's not a zero-sum game. But I do believe they have every right to express themselves without violence. They have every right to feel the way they feel. They have that, But the moment you take that away, so the people who are protesting, and rightfully so, they have every right to protest, every right. But this regime, you cannot have that. You can't have people who are free thinkers. You can't have it. So all those people, and there's a lot of people like, well, if they would just comply, if you would just, that's a no. That's a no. You're going to have to fight for something. And some people don't, because you've never had to fight for anything. Your privilege allows you to get the benefits from someone else putting their self and their line and their family. Yes.
And
You've never had to fight for something. You're going to have to fight for something at the end of the day.
And more importantly, they never had to die for anything.
It never had to die for something.
People died for this. People died for your civil rights that they're now trying to strip away. They died for these voting rights. People died for this. And so you never had to fight for it. You never had to die for it. And, you know, and yes, they protected him. Would I have been protected him? I probably would not have, but you know, but sometimes you have to think about it this way. If they come into your house and they start tearing up your stuff, what are you going to do?
Throwing bows.
So when you come in the middle of something that people are doing, and they do it in DC all the time. They come into the middle of where people are trying to be peaceful, and they walk up in there and they start doing all sorts of things and calling people all types of names, and then they want someone to save them when things don't go as they thought, because they were so arrogant to think they were untouchable. Mm-hmm. These are not untouchable times. And if you go into a place like where there's been so much harm being done, Minneapolis is a place where there's so much harm being done to people. Mm-hmm. They are mentally and physically exhausted.
They are exhausted.
But they cannot afford to sleep. They have to stay woke. They have to stay informed. They have to stay vigilant. They have to stay in the streets. Place where now kids, let's just send all our kids to school virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to go out in the streets, because you don't want them to be like the 5-year-old and the 2-year-old that get kidnapped by ICE and sent to Texas.
Or like the 5-year-old that was he 5 years or 8 years? I think it was 5 years old.
He was
5 years old, and they used him as bait.
And a 2-year-old.
And a 2-year-old who was eventually sent back to her mother. You would have thought, for a country who claims to be so Christian and to be so about family and value, the idea that you snatch a 2-year-old up. Yeah, you have multiple children who have been snatched up, and there's no care and concern for those kids. Why? Because they have a little bit more melanin than your kids. Mm. That's why you don't care. Like this really is that time to look in the mirror and say, am I that person? Now, I look in the mirror every day. I know exactly who I am. I know sometimes I seem semi-violent. I don't know. Maybe I am. I don't, But I am honest about mine. I'm honest about how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. I'm honest about it. This is that time to say, am I the person who really believes that people who don't look like me, who don't worship like me, who don't dress like me should be harmed and executed in the street? If you are that bitch, wear them shoes.
Mm. Right. If that's you.
That's you.
Yeah. And like I said, with me, if I am in a situation where I have to be physical about something, I know I would be. Am I going to go out and look for it? No. I'm not going to create that, because my core is peaceful. My core is peaceful. And a lot of people, and I think back to one of the colonizers in Africa. He said the biggest thing about the Africans was that they were so peaceful.
They're peaceful. That's what Columbus said about
able to do it. That's what
Columbus said the same thing.
People in this country, the First Nation people in this country, because they were so peaceful.
Yes.
That they were able to do what because they knew that they could destroy them. Yes. They could take stuff from them because they were willing to share at that point in time. And I think, we have to think about what we able to do. And we also have to make sure that we don't become the oppressors.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what we have to make sure. They don't become who they are. And unfortunately, so many people were becoming that.
Mm.
So many people, especially when it came to Black American people, there's so many people who have come from all over the world who wanted to also become the oppressors of us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not understanding that their access to the things that they have access was because of us. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we have to be careful. To not become the oppressor. And it's not about Michelle Obama's, you go high, they go low, we go high. Nope, I'm going straight to hell on some things.
We ride shotgun, Ms. Alice. We ride shotgun.
As deep as I can, I'm going.
You guys hit it all on the nose.
We have to stop being reactionary.
You gotta be proactive.
We gotta know what's happening.
And I just wish I'm hoping that some of the people, I mean, this is the street. I mean, I should say the street. The folks here, people are in and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. I just wish, I'm hoping that our congressmen will awaken and become more participate more in this. But some of these guys, and this is a topic for another day, part 2, but so I want to scream sometimes when I think about the politicians that are just like, I'm like, where are you? Like, shouldn't you be in the street? Shouldn't you be saying things? Shouldn't you be like really out there? But it seems so that they're so comfortable. It's some of these folks. They
were hiding in the closet.
Like, what the hell is wrong with you? And anyway, we're going to do our Motivation Monday. But no, this was a great. I'm so glad you guys came on, because let me tell you, this was, and I knew a lot. And that's when you are hosting these, these community talks. You try to figure out where the community is, because I want to make sure that we are being sensitive to how the community is feeling. And I was like, should we talk about it? Should we not? But I was so glad you guys came on, and you guys gave such great balanced information and sharing, as always. And thank you so much for being a part of the discussion. And thank you everyone that's been really commenting and putting in there. That's been really beneficial as well. Yes, Elise.
So what I want to say is November is the last time to vote. Right now, we have primaries.
Yes.
We need to be encouraging in the primaries, because how we show up in the primaries will be a big predictor of how to show up in November. Let people, what they want to think is only about no, it's about now.
It's now.
And what we do now.
Every election matters. Every election matters. And there's a new election in February. There's a couple of, there's an election literally every other Tuesday about a position that's important. We got to be sharing that with our communities and the people around us. And so let's get out there and vote. Voting is now. It's not November. It's now. So let's do that. Okay, let's do some Motivation Monday. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. I love y'all to pieces, and you guys really bring it home. Thank you so much. But now let's go into our wonderful Motivation Monday, and we're going to do that real quick, and we're going to be out of here because you guys got a day to go through. And so here we go. Let me just pop this on the screen. And lovely. So today is our shift how someone sees themselves. It should be themselves. Should be themselves. Motivation Monday for our creative community. This is your reminder that the power of your lens and your voice has never been about perfection or privilege. It's about presence. It's about seeing the stories that the world overlooks and choosing to honor them with intention. This Motivation Monday is based on the quote from Mary Ellen Mark. I'm interested in people who aren't the lucky ones. Let me say that again. This is based on this quote. I'm interested in people who aren't the lucky ones. And if you want to follow her work, you can just go onto Google, check out Mary Ellen Mark's work, her work and her photography, and you will see why she says what she says here. And we're going to continue on. Every time you lift your camera, sketch a concept. One of my friends does this all the time. Or shape a scene. You're doing more than making art. You're widening the frame. You're giving space to the quiet heroes, the everyday fighters, the beautiful, perfect souls who carry entire universes in their eyes. So you out there protesting, you're out there in the streets, you're out there supporting a community, you're out there supporting benefits or feeding the homeless or whatever it is, and you are the photographer, you are the painter, you are the artist, you are celebrating the quiet heroes, if I may say. And here we go, some more. And there we go. This week, let your creativity be an act of courage. Courage to look deeper, courage to listen longer, courage to connect with the humanity that doesn't always get center stage. And remember, the work you make doesn't just document life, it dignifies it. It reminds people they matter. How many times have we taken photos? A lot of us, we photographers, or someone says, I am not photographic, I'm not photogenic. And then you take a picture of them and then they see how beautiful they are. Some folks don't even know how beautiful they are until you photograph them and then share that photo with them and reveal their own beauty to them. It builds community where there was once distance. Step into this Monday knowing your vision is needed. Your empathy is powerful, especially in a world right now where empathy seems to be a bad word. No, empathy is powerful, and your art can shift how someone sees themselves in the world. You can take that photograph, you can take that paintbrush and change the world with every stroke or with every click. Let's create with heart, with purpose, and with the kind of honesty that inspires others to do the same. I hope that helps someone today. I hope that that encourages someone to get out there. Let your gift be a gift to the world. Let your gift as a photographer be a gift to help people see themselves in a more positive way. It's important that we use our gifts to bless others. And on that note, I'm going to share just a couple of banners here. Again, if you were part of this community, make sure you hang out in our motivation, I should say our YouTube community. We hang out there. Some folks are now getting a little more involved. I see over there. So check it out. Join the YouTube. First of all, join our community, subscribe, and hit like. But there you can post your photography, you can post your text messages, you can have a conversation. Some of us in there, we will engage with you. So join our YouTube community and just hit the YouTube. It just says the community tab and click on that and you'll be able to share there. And also make sure you go to ronlewisphotos.com and you can go onto the mailing list and become part, so we can send you emails if we decide to do so, or if we're not able to do it through the social media pages. Also, I'm an event photographer. If I'm in your city, state, or country, you will be able to reach out to me and I may be able to support you in your work as a photographer, because your photography, to say your event needs to be remembered. And how do you have it remembered? Through photography. Also, thank you to Patreon members who your support helps us create amazing content. We are so thankful for the Patreon members that are part of this community. And if you want to become a Patreon member, this is the QR code. I'm changing it right now. You can join the Patreon community, become part of the Patreon community that supports what we do here. And everything that we do on this page, you can find some of the links in our Patreon community. Okay, and last but not least, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and pass it on. Share what we're doing here if you enjoy the conversation. We're just folks that just want to share. We communicate. We love communicating with each other and talking and sharing what's on our hearts and on our mind. And it may give you another perspective that you didn't think you had, or maybe you weren't thinking about. So perspective is perspective is a good thing. And so thank you so much. Let me just see what you guys are saying. I see Cass says, have a blessed day. I see Cass says also, peace and love to all. I see Fifi says, love to everyone. Thank you, Fifi said, beautifully said, Ron. I see the love. I see the hearts. I see the hands. I see the applause. And Dr. Tachi says, indeed. And then Tanya says, what a word. And so true. But let your gift shine. You can change the world, and you can change the world one person at a time. So guys, have a great day. Enjoy this week. Be motivated and motivate others. Later.